The next state representative from the 49th district, who most of you already know as well, Travis Fitzwater. He is the Chief Operating Officer of the Missouri Pharmacy Association. And he's a very strong conservative, the type we need here in Missouri to protect our rights and liberties of the people just as well. Becky and I are very grateful that he could be here to support us tonight. So here's the next state rep from the 49th district. Travis.
Well, it's great to be here. First of all, it's terrible to have to follow Paul Kurtman. He's probably one of the most motivating speakers you're ever going to hear speak. But Paul's great, and I'm very thankful to be here. I'm no more important than any other candidate that's here, so I hope that's very clear that it's exciting that there's so many candidates out here to support Becky. And I think the only reason I even get to speak is because I drove really far to get here. Appreciate you guys being here, and I just want to follow up what Paul said by saying this battle, and maybe talk a little more about practical application for everybody here beyond what Paul said. This battle for her seat has a lot more implications concerning freedom, not just for ourselves, but for our families. Myself, I'm running in an election against somebody who's very pro-choice. And so that's one piece of freedom that we don't think about tons for our kids and for our future, these kids that are being taken away from us from a mother's womb. I mean, it's crazy that we wouldn't think of that life as important as our own. And so you guys need to support Becky, if not only for that we're supporting and fighting for life. So that's one crucial piece of it. The second thing is, and I'll echo Paul. When I met Tommy and Becky a couple years ago at a Lincoln Day dinner or a Lincoln Day event in Springfield, I was just amazed their enthusiasm. There wasn't anybody that was more enthusiastic than Becky and Tommy about their election at that point. And I can't think of a better thing for you to put your money towards, for you to put your time towards, than to put your efforts towards, than to get somebody like Becky who is passionate about representing you, where you may not get that from the other side, by the way, but somebody who's passionate about representing you and being there for you as your state representative. And you know, Tommy and Becky can tell you their story. It's pretty phenomenal in my opinion. And it's this story of the American dream. That you can come to America no matter who you are. You can become a citizen of America and you can fight for freedom too. And nobody... And what's so exciting is the fact that nobody inherently can come to you and say you're not free to do that. That's the great thing about our Constitution. It's inherent. It gives us inherent freedoms, which means basically we were born with this God-given right to be free to do what we do. To be free to, we can disagree and we're free to do it. We can not like each other and we can be free to do it. We can run for office after becoming a citizen of this country and we're free to do it. It's amazing. No other country was established ever in the history of the world on this basic belief, and Paul already talked about it, but this basic belief that freedom is so important to who we are as human beings, not just as candidates or citizens or community leaders or whatever, but that freedom is so inherent in us that it's so important to us that we're willing to die for it. There are people that are willing to die for it, have died for it, and it's worth us fighting for going forward. And so it's really, I'm just really excited to be here for Becky and Tommy and to support them, because we need people exactly like them in Jefferson City.
Yes.
Exactly like them. And again, I think the great thing is that, you know, we can look at it and we can say we all believe in freedom. And this is about as diverse a room as I've been in for any campaign.
I know.
That I've been, any Republican campaign. And that's really great. And Paul actually has had a huge impact on me in the last year as I've kind of studied some videos and some of his talks. And what he said, and he said it earlier, is liberty is an attractive message. It doesn't matter who you talk to, Democrat, Republican, white, black, everything Paul said, they want freedom. They want government out of their lives. I talked to a very liberal entrepreneur this morning in St. Louis, in the heart of St. Louis, a multiple multi-billion dollar companies that he's founded and formed. And he told me the one thing that really sticks out about government to him was that it's incredibly inefficient. And you just have to be able to deal with a little bit of an inefficiency if you're going to allow government to be in your life.
That's right.
We understand we need a little bit of that inefficiency because government's going to be there no matter what, unfortunately. But that government ought to be there to protect our freedoms. That's what it's for. So in that way, I'm very, very happy to be here for Becky and Tommy, and it is well worth coming here and meeting many of you, and to meet Dwayne and Carol is a good friend, and all the candidates that are already here. It's so crucial that we give our time and effort to this campaign. I mean, I can't encourage you guys enough to fight for this woman so she can be in Jeff City representing you and fighting for our freedoms. So with that, thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.